American national security. And yet the Biden administration's appeasement first foreign policy has emboldened Iran, not only emboldened them, but enriched them as well. The world's leading sponsor of state terrorism has more money now in its coffers than it did before, and I think that's what you were talking about. I think the payments, for example, to Hezbollah have gone up from, or Hamas have gone up from $100 million to $350 million, and that's the point you were just making there, Mr. Hook, around the amount of money and why it's so important that we enforce these sanctions. I want to hit a topic, though, that we haven't talked about, but Iran is a theocracy, is that correct?
Yes, Iran has been a theocratic regime since 1979.
And so do you think it follows and that they don't necessarily share the same goals we would in, say, a republic like the United States where we elect our officials? This is a administration and regime that is based on religious philosophy. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's accurate.
And so they don't think like us?
They do not think like us. They are a revolutionary, expansive regime that is committed by its constitution to death to the United States, death to Israel, and overthrowing Sunni governments in the Middle East.
So is it naive to think there's any amount of money we can give Iran and they're going to be nice to us?
Yeah, I don't think that money or talking nicely is going to get us anywhere with Iran.
Right. And I think, Dr. Maloney, you said their goal since 1979 has been to kick us out of the Middle East. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Right. So we have a regime that wants us out of the Middle East, that thinks differently than we do. There is no amount of money that we can give them, and they're going to play nice with us. So let's change topics here a little bit. In Gaza, since the war in Gaza began, the Houthis have attacked, I think you referenced 45 attacks. The military has shot down 95 drones and missiles. And, of course, we've also seen the attacks on U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria have tapered off recently, but certainly that had been a big increase. In January, President Biden, when asked whether the strikes are working, responded, "When you say working, are they stopping the Houthis? No." That was his quote. And then he said, "Are they going to continue? Yes." If this isn't emblematic of a failed exercise in deterrence and failed Iran policy, I don't know what is. It's also unsustainable. The defense munitions the U.S. is expending to interdict the Houthi attacks are costly, more so than the cheap drones the Houthis are using. And to make matters worse, the Biden administration's overturned the Trump administration's designation of the Houthis as a foreign terrorist organization and recently made it a specially designated terrorist organization. It's only partially reversing course to designated SDTG. And let's not forget the Iran support that's going on with them. Mr. Hook, why did the Trump administration designate the Houthis as an FTO? And do you believe the Biden administration should relist them as such?
We listed the Houthis as a foreign terrorist organization because they met the definition under almost every criteria, according to the lawyers in the State Department. I thought it was a mistake for the Biden administration to delist them very early on. It was one of the sort of the early policy decisions of the administration. They have since done a redesignation of the Houthis. That is necessary. It's important to do. You need to do other things. I'm very happy that we did because they are a foreign terrorist organization.
So when it comes to deterring the Houthis, clearly the strikes we've been doing have not been doing that. They continue to attack the shipping, as you point out, in the Red Sea. What can we do to deter or establish credible deterrence? Do we need to start targeting Houthi leaders? Do we need to start providing direct military support to the anti-Houthi faction in Yemen? What should we be doing?
The Houthis are a tribal militia that are fighting at a level entirely beyond their natural capability. And Iran has organized, trained, and equipped the Houthis for many years now. And I'm not privy to the intelligence that would drive decisions like targeting in terms of assets or individuals that enable the Houthis to have shut down international shipping. The Houthis did not shut down international shipping when we were in office. We worked very closely with our partners to put the Houthis in a defensive position. It wasn't perfect, but it is much better than what we have today. So I would strongly encourage the Biden administration to do the defensive military measures that will achieve deterrence. I don't think we're there yet.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Shaheen.